Because if your business isn't profitable enough where you can pay yourself and you can save for taxes and you can strategically reinvest, then something's broken in your business. And figuring out where that is what Profit First helps with, so that you can start making those changes and adjustments and decisions so that you can become profitable.
Hey, Megan, welcome to the Lazy Entrepreneur podcast. I'm glad you're here with me, and I'm excited to hear about your story as a single mom with 4 kids, although the other one is already out. But still, you have 4 kids and you built your business, and knowing that, you have other responsibilities outside your business as well. So I'm excited to learn more about you, what you do, and how you're able to successfully build your business the lazy way, not literally lazy, but the lazy way. But before we get started, why don't you introduce yourself to our listeners?
Thanks, Kristy. I'm excited to be here as well, and looking forward to our conversation. I'm Megan, CEO and founder of Sidekick Accounting. And we do small business bookkeeping, tax prep, tax planning, and then we're a certified Profit First firm, which is a cash flow management system. So we help people implement that and then do business coaching related to that as well for our clients. And we work with business owners across the U.S. Been in business for almost 12 years now. And like you said, single mom of 4. And it's been a journey, but I love what we do, and we get to help business owners create their own version of success within their businesses. And it's really a lot of fun helping them understand and use their numbers to build those businesses successfully.
Awesome. You're doing a valuable thing, helping out business owners, with their money. And that's very important, right? Because we all build our businesses to make money. And if we're not making money, what's the point? Or if you're not managing it well, you can be in a really, really messy place. So before I met you today, I actually went to your website and I went to check out, your team profile, the about page. And I noticed, now I'm asking this question because I'm from the Philippines and I'm from a different culture, and now I live here in the States. So I love just getting to know people from different parts of the world, different ethnicities, nationalities, and all that. And I noticed that there's some diversity on your website. I could be wrong too, but I feel like most of them are like Latinas. Are they?
There's there's a combination of us that are Latinas. We have a couple of black people or black women. We have an all women team, and then a couple of white women as well. So very diverse.
I love it. So you have Latina background.
Yes. Yeah. I'm half Mexican and then German as well. And then I actually have 2 sisters that work for me. So that right there is 3 people.
Wow, I love it. I love it. So so you started your business in 2014. So that's like a decade and 2 years. Mm-hmm. And tell me about, when you were first starting your business, what led you to starting this business?
Yeah. And for me, I just kind of fell into it. I was really, my story started back in high school because I was taking an accounting 101 class, and one of my teachers was just like, "Hey, you have a knack for this. You should think about making it a career." And then I got pregnant when I was 16. So then I was like, okay, I got to figure out, what career to have so I can support me and my daughter. And accounting just seemed like a really good career. There's lots of options in that field, and so that's what I did. I went to school and got my bachelor's. During that time, I met my husband at the time, and then got a job, full-time job, and we got pregnant soon after. And I decided not to go back to work full-time once I had my second child. So then I got a job part-time as a bookkeeper at a landscaping company, and that was kind of my first introduction to small business, if you will. And I did that part-time. My full-time job called me back. The person they hired to replace me didn't work out. So then I was working 2 part-time positions, basically mostly from home, and did that for about 2 years. And then I got laid off of both of those jobs within a month of each other. So then it was kind of like, all right, now what?
Wow.
And I was doing taxes on the side for like friends and family. And I guess I just kind of thought, well, I was doing bookkeeping for that landscaping company, that small business. I could probably do it for other companies and still work mostly from home. And so I did. I just kind of created my business and started networking. And now, almost 12 years later, it's like this big enterprise. I've got 9 employees and a couple of contractors, and we work with hundreds of businesses every year.
That's
I'm on their taxes and bookkeeping. So
that's really awesome.
Intentional.
Congratulations on your success. Sometimes we needed to be in a situation where we feel like we got nothing left. We're like in a very desperate situation. And because we're so desperate, we find creative ways to get out of that, desperation. Right. And I feel like that's exactly what you did. And for many entrepreneurs, solo entrepreneurs, or those, and even, people who are currently employed, they know that they have a knack for entrepreneurship, but they're just kind of scared, like they don't know how to start, or is it even gonna be something that will provide for their own self or their family. Like when you took that step to build your own business, or when you decided that you want to start your own business, did you have savings, or did you have at least like a safety net, in case
not too much work? Sorry, not to interrupt you, but not really. We had a little bit of savings. I had like enough to get the software and start joining some networking groups, which were like $20, $30 kind of a thing. But we didn't really have a significant amount in savings. My husband was working at the time though, at least. So we had some income coming in for that. But I guess, it was just kind of one of those things where it was like, well, what else am I going to do? And I did have unemployment that was coming in from the jobs though. So I guess there was a little bit of income from that. So his income, a little bit of income from unemployment. And it was just kind of one of those things where it's like, well, the worst that can happen is that this just won't work and I'll just go back and get a job, right?
Right.
So I might as well just try. And I really pounded the pavement when I first started. I was really intentional about trying to find my first couple of clients, which, a lot of times is just a numbers game. It's just you got to be head down and just talking to so many people to try and get, the clients in. And for my type of business, it's people buy it. It's a necessary thing for most companies. So it wasn't a brand new concept or anything like that. I think a lot of times for solopreneurs or people that want to start a business, sometimes they're not exactly sure what to provide or what to do, so I always tell people look and see, if you have an idea in mind, is somebody else already doing that? If not, then you kind of have to make proof of concept, right? You got to prove that what you're thinking is going to work, that you can turn it into a business or something like that. But for me, I already knew people buy bookkeeping, people need tax services, so it was proof of concept is already there.
It's non-negotiable for businesses.
Exactly. So then it was just a matter of finding clients, and I did end up going back to work for a little while part-time for about a year. And then after that year, then I went full-time into my business. So I've been in business full-time within my business for, almost 11 years now at this point. So
yeah, nice. Okay. And then as you're starting out the business, what were your struggles and how did you overcome those struggles?
Well, for me, one of the big things that I struggled with was, even before that, was I just had really not the greatest self-esteem, I guess you could say. I wasn't very confident. I was really introverted, still kind of am, but I've learned to talk to people, and initiate conversations. And so just kind of learning how to be more outside of myself. You learn that as you're going, but those were definitely some of my big struggles. Was like the confidence piece was big. I was actually really fortunate and blessed that I met a business coach when I was first starting out, and we actually bartered services. So I did his bookkeeping and he did business coaching with me, and he was the one that really helped me, learn how to do sales and learn how to set goals. And, so like that really gave me a really great foundation to grow and to, kind of build that confidence. But then I think also just by doing my business, having people trust me with their finances, trust my expertise and my opinion, and getting more confident that I knew what I was doing, that all helped in the process of growing in that area. But I think the other part of that, which I guess in some ways kind of goes the same, was really the pricing piece. When I first started, I didn't know how to price my services. Like, I just picked a number out of thin air and it was like, this is the pricing. And I remember one client specifically, I think I found him on Craigslist or something like that, like back in the day when Craigslist was a bigger thing than it is now. But he was somebody that I went above and beyond, right, with the services that I was providing. But ironically, he was probably the client that paid me the least, in my entire business, type of a thing. So it was like learning that. It was like, having to learn how to price my services for the value that I'm providing and not just like the hours spent or, just in general. So that was a really big learning curve for me as well. And so when I talk to people that are in kind of that startup phase, I always tell them, do your research, reach out to people that are doing similar things that you want to do, and just kind of get that feedback. Like, how do they price their services? What is that price point? Talking to other business owners about what they pay for similar services that you're trying to provide. That can give you a really good idea of what's the average. And then you kind of have that starting place versus just picking something out of the air, and running with that.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I love that, you met people who help you, not just establish your business, but also gave you confidence. And I think, I think that's very important, because you're not the only person who's struggled with self-esteem, right? Even the most confident person you will meet, at some point had struggled with self-esteem, you know? So, and I think the most important thing there is knowing that that's something that you need to improve on. Right. And I ask because, there's a lot of entrepreneurs out there who struggle with the same thing, and they feel like they're the only ones who deal with those kind of things. But in reality, they're not the only ones. There's almost all people struggle with the same thing. And so you started a business in 2014, and then you became a single mom. Like, at what point in the business did you become a single mom?
So I became a single mom in 2018.
2018? Okay, yeah. I'm sure that was a very difficult situation to navigate. And I'm sure right now you're pretty, you're probably right now you're just laughing at, what happened during that time, because now you're here and you're able to overcome a lot of struggles in business and in your personal life. So how did the business help you with providing for your family, especially with having 4 kids, right, to feed? Did that change the way how you run the business? Did you offer more services? What did you do to make sure that you're able to provide for your family as a single mom?
Yeah, that's a great question. I was able to get some family help as well, so that was really helpful during that time, because I had an unexpected separation and divorce from my husband, and at the time I had my daughter was 12, my first son was 6, and then I had 2 babies back to back. So they were 9 months old, and I was actually 9 months pregnant with my youngest at the time. So it was like a lot was happening all at the same time. But my business was able to give me the flexibility, and I was making enough, where it was like supporting my family. I had a little team, a small team at that time as well. So I was able to delegate things out and be able to kind of take that time and flexibility my family needed from everything that was going on. So and that's the thing is like, at that point I had built, 4 years in, you kind of know who your clients are, what services you're offering. So I had some of those things outlined in details enough where it was when I had to pull back a little bit, if you will, my team was able to still continue forward with the clients that we had. We have a recurring business model where we have monthly services. So I just have I had that monthly income that was coming in regardless, and people that were delivering on those. So I had built it enough where we had systems in place to an extent where they were able to still provide services, even though I wasn't able to be fully present. And, profitability is a big piece of that. Like my business had to be profitable enough where it was able to pay me and pay for, the people that were on my team and still have us move forward. And I think a lot of times that's the part that sometimes gets missed with businesses is they're just going so hard, and putting money back into the business and back into the business. But you got to make sure your pricing is, set up to a point where you're profitable. You got to make sure you have good systems in place so that you're able to delegate if you need to, if you want to grow to that next level, being able to like bring other people in, whether it's a contractor or an employee. So just kind of putting some of those pieces in place was how I was able to support my family, even though I was going through this, transition of becoming a single mom, and all of the responsibility that comes on you from that. And so my business was a big blessing. And that's a big passion behind what we do now is we help business owners think in that way, understand their numbers so that they can have options, because that was what my business gave me. My business gave me options to get out of that situation, to be able to provide for my family. And eventually we ended up moving across the country a few years later. And then last year I was able to buy a house, so it was like I was able to do these things because I focused on building a business that wasn't just a business, it was a profitable business, that was able to give me what I needed from it, and also my family what they needed from it, which for me is a lot of times flexibility. Being a single mom, you need a lot of flexibility.
Exactly. Yeah. Flexibility in different areas in your life, because you weren't just providing for your family financially, but you're being present, right? Like yes, you're giving your time to them as well. And I have so much respect to single moms, because just taking care of your own self is hard. How much more if you're taking care of 4 kids, and you were pregnant during that time. So I'm glad that your business was somehow kind of already established, during the separation, during the transition. But, I'm just so happy to hear your story. And I hope that a lot of people are, inspired by your story. And so, as a single mom, what would you like to say to other single moms who are in the business as well, but they just don't experience the same freedom and flexibility that you have?
Right. It comes down, I think, to thinking about what you want or need out of your business, so sometimes when people don't have a lot of direction, it's hard to figure out what changes to make or what adjustments to make, or, like what direction to go into. So think about, what you're wanting out of, if you have a business or you're wanting to start a business, like what is the end goal? Is it so that you have more time flexibility? Is it so that you're able to make a certain amount? But thinking about that can kind of help you build it backwards, and, you figure out which pieces you need. The other thing too, I think when it comes to business ownership, is like a lot of it comes down to, grit and determination. You have to really decide that you're going to make it work, no matter what. Because like you said, even when I kind of fell into this position, it was because it was out of necessity. And that's how a lot of businesses are formed. It's because we need to make it work. We don't have another option. But if you kind of have that mindset from the beginning, then you become more tenacious, you become more determined, you take steps and take actions that feel uncomfortable, or awkward sometimes, because depending on who you are as an individual, being a business owner, you got to do sales, so it's like you got to talk to these people and kind of be outside of yourself. So, but when you have that determination of like, this, I need to make this work, or I need this to work, then, it kind of just sets you up for almost success from the beginning, because you've already decided that you need to be successful. So what I would say to single moms is there's usually something that you can do. Sometimes it's a small tweak. Sometimes it's, taking a leap and a big step and just kind of trusting the process, or building as building the plane as you're jumping off the cliff, or whatever, that imagery is that they have. Sometimes that example, sometimes that is what you have to do, but you can set yourself up for success by getting in the room with the right people. So like for me, even though I wasn't a single mom at the time when I started my business, it was talking to that coach. And there's a lot of people in the small business community that are so willing to have conversations at no cost with people. Like they'll share their experiences, they'll share their pain points, they'll share their challenges. And so if you think you know what you want to do, like start talking to those people and start building that plan of like what your next steps are going to be. Or if you're already in it and you're like, I don't know what to do next, like have those conversations. Small business community is such a powerful thing. And I think as small business owners and single moms as well, like I'll just put that all across the board. Like I had to be okay with asking and accepting help. And the same is really true on the business owner side too, is like you have to be okay with asking questions and accepting if people are going to help you with their, knowledge or share resources or, whatever else. Like you have to be okay with that as a single mom and a business owner. And I think that's something that I've learned kind of in tandem, because you are a single mom unexpectedly with 4 kids, very young, young kids, like you have to be okay with asking for help and taking that help and not internalizing it as like you're bad or, you failed, or there's like the shame part of it. And I think a lot of that translates to being a business owner as well. So just, kind of having that mindset, like having help or asking for help,
right?
Seeking community isn't bad. It's actually what's going to help you be successful a lot of the times.
Yeah, especially for moms, right? Regardless if you're a single mom or you have your partner helping you out,
right?
Like they tend to do all things, right? for their kids, because they're just, natural nurturers. Right.
And the way we're built.
Yeah, that's true. But at the end of the day, moms, they need support.
Yeah.
Right? They may be always compared to, Wonder Woman who can do everything. But in reality, you don't have all the time in the world to do everything. You need rest, you need a break, and you need people supporting you as well. So I think that's a good advice that you gave there. Don't be afraid to ask for help. And you think that it's so simple, you think that it's like, oh, it's just very simple advice, like ask for help. But no, it's not. It's some people find it hard to ask for help just because they don't know how to ask for help, or because they have a mindset that they should be the one helping other people.
Right.
Yeah. So awesome. So let's talk about profit first a little bit, because since that's a big part of what you do, helping people, businesses, making sure that their bottom line is healthy. So what advice would you give to business owners who are currently not seeing profit that they want, or maybe instead of profiting, they're in negative cash flow? And I think this is a good thing for you to share with them, because it's already October. We only have like a few months left, and the year is already done, and then a few more months you're gonna have to file your taxes, right?
Right. Yeah. So definitely knowing your numbers. If you're not doing bookkeeping on a regular basis already, you definitely need to do that, because that's going to give you kind of the foundation of information and data that you need to be able to do anything else. So bookkeeping's first. You got to do that. But then what we like to take our clients through, especially when we're doing the profit first implementation and coaching, is we go through all the expenses. And we go through them like deep, like we're asking them to evaluate, does this expense have an explanation or a purpose? Is there a reason why you're currently paying this expense right now? Are you able to utilize whatever you're paying for? Sometimes people sign up for subscriptions and they're not using those subscriptions, or they sign up for programs and they're not able to partake in those programs because they don't have the capacity, or, it just wasn't the right time, or, it was a shiny penny kind of moment. So really take a look at that and make sure that you're understanding exactly what you're spending. And if you've cut out all of the expenses that you can, you're like, I can't cut anything else, then it's time to also look at your pricing. How do you have things priced? Are they priced enough to where you're able to cover your expenses? Because if you're at a negative, that means you're either spending too much or you're not making enough, right? So, or your processes or deliverables aren't efficient enough for you to have a profit. So you want to make sure you're looking at those areas specifically.
Right.
But Profit First in general is a cash flow management system. So we start there, but then what ends up happening is we create different bank accounts to kind of bucket our money into these different areas that cover our pain points. So things like paying yourself, saving for taxes, strategically reinvesting, planning for, seasonal type dips and ups and downs, so putting that into different buckets and kind of covering those different areas helps people to stabilize their cash flow. And then I think it also makes it more tangible. And Profit First is based off of a book. So if you're interested in learning more about it, you can get the book, or feel free to contact me to talk more about it. But it's a really great system for managing your money, but then also proactively planning for the next stage. And the other thing it does is it really helps force profitability. Because if your business isn't profitable enough where you can pay yourself and you can save for taxes and you can strategically reinvest, then something's broken in your business. And figuring that where that is what Profit First helps with, so that you can start making those changes and adjustments and decisions so that you can become profitable. Because like you said in the beginning, if your business isn't profitable, you're not paying yourself, you're not able to. What's the point? Exactly. You might as well just go get a job.
Yeah, especially if you're a single mom, right? You have people to feed, you're just not thinking about yourself. So you really have to be strategic with money. You have to profit first. So thank you so much for sharing that insight. So as we wrap up, my previous guest left a question for you. And the question is, we all need to find some time outside to get grounded as entrepreneurs. What is the activity that gets you outside, and how does it reground you?
So right now it's mostly walking, because I'm trying to get my step count up as I'm working on my physical health. And so walking in nature really helps to kind of fill my cup back up. I really like being outside in general, and I'm so thankful that I live in Florida now, because we also have like the springs and the beaches, and I love all those things too. So recreation, I would say, and like walking are things that really get me outside. And I don't know, there's just something about, being in nature. I'm a believer, so like being in God's creation just kind of like filled me up. Having like the wind in your face and the water, like all that stuff kind of grounds me, where it's like, okay, it's taking a moment to breathe, especially because, as a single mom, as a business owner with a team, as a leader, there's so many people and pieces that pull on me every single day. So like being in nature, I feel like it kind of takes all of that away. And then just kind of gives me a moment to myself to, think and clarify and just kind of have that moment to breathe. And that really helps to reground me for like what's next. Because there's always something next.
Yeah, there is always something next. You're right. Yeah, thank you for that wonderful answer. So what question do you want to leave my next guest?
So I would be really curious to hear what personal, I guess, lesson or personal development, lesson they've learned in operating their business.
I love that question. Thank you so much. All right. Well, where can people find you online?
I'm on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. You can go to Chat with Meg, as in Megan.com. And that goes to my website that has all of the links as well. And if you want to schedule a time with me, that's on there as well. So that's where to find me.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Megan, for your time and for sharing your story. I appreciate it.